mute some people, and then you can unmute. Or if you can mute yourselves, it would be a better, it will be easier. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. This is our last session of the Toronto Meetup group before going on summer vacation for the month of August, and then in September we will be back. We have a couple of sessions already lined up, but no details available yet. We will get to that in a bit. Let me just share my screen because I think I did not share it yet. Okay, there we go. So welcome everyone to this session, especially those of you who are new and joining us for the first time. It's a great pleasure to have you here. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn, and I hope you join us in the future more times. We usually do 2 sessions each month. One of them is a shorter format like the one we will have today, where we focus more on the core features of Excel. And then we have another session on a more expanded format, longer duration. And in those sessions, we explore more of the advanced stuff or other technologies that relate with Excel somehow. And today we have the pleasure of having Mr. Excel, Bill Jelen himself. Thank you, Bill, for joining us again. And it's always a great pleasure to have Bill with us. I will have a couple of announcements, and then I will get back to you, Bill, to introduce you properly. So be mindful that the session is being recorded, and we will put our upload the video to our YouTube channel soon, in a couple of days. If you registered and not opted out from our emails, you will receive an email soon with a recording, with the exercise file that Bill already shared. And I have the file to send you in case you want to revisit the session and play with the exercises. And if you don't know me, my name is Celia Alves. I am an Excel MVP. I've been an MVP for a couple of years now. It's an honor to run this group, to bring presenters from all over the world, experts. They know so much about Excel, and so gracefully and generously offer their time and their expertise with us here. All the work is on a volunteer basis from both the organizing team and all the presenters. So I hope you really enjoy and take advantage of it. Yeah, let us know if you have any feedback. We are always looking for that. Aurora is co-hosting with me. Do you want to say hello, Aurora? She said hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aurora. Sorry. Before I forget, I would like to say congratulations to Celia and Bill in being awarded the Microsoft MVP for the, I don't know, 10th year in a row. Yeah. Thank you for your contribution to the Excel community. I am Aurora Sakac, freelance consultant based in Toronto, providing data analytics solutions. I'm a big fan of Excel, and I will be co-hosting today. I will be posting some resources in the chat and monitoring the chat for your questions. And now let's enjoy this presentation from Bill Jelen.
Thank you so much, Aurora. And congratulations to all the other MVPs, including Oz, who is here with us today. We have also volunteers, Anthony, Licinia, Phil, and Valeria, who help us with creating the timestamps for our videos. So a big thank you for them as well. The main sponsor of this meetup group is Sheetcast, who happens to be my employer now since almost a year ago. Sheetcast is an add-in for Excel that allows us to transform Excel workbooks into web applications. It's really, really, really cool. And we have been delivering free training for any of you who are curious and want to learn how that works. Feel free to check the QR code there, and you will see a couple of options for the workshops. We actually finished one today. We had a nice group of students and a lot of great ideas of how to apply, of how to transform business cases for web applications that you can create using your Excel knowledge. So you don't have to learn how to program for the web, because the add-in takes care of that part of the web development. You don't need to learn an extra language. You just use your Excel skills. And we have other sponsors. So with Excel is my consulting business, MrExcel.com. We have Mr. Excel here, and it offers a number of resources. And I will talk about the books, for example, in a little bit, and the forum. And Women in Excel, a LinkedIn group organized by Grania, Duggan, and other women. If you are a woman interested in discussing Excel overall, it's a fun group to belong to. And all the link will be in the chat, and all this PDF, these slides will be available for you as well when I send out the email. And for the next sessions, we don't have anything scheduled, but in fact, one of the reasons why I don't have anything scheduled is because I really need to make some figure out how I can fit in all the different proposals I have until the end of the year. We'll see how this comes up. During the month of August, I'll be organizing the sessions for you guys, and we'll be posting on Meetup, and you will receive the emails on all that. So stay tuned for that. Did I miss something there? Yeah, Bulgaria Days is one of the next Excel events happening in October in Bulgaria. It's in person. If you are interested in attending, there's a link from where you can get 10% discount. I believe it's still available. I'm not sure if this link has an expiry date, but you can try and see if you can still get 10% off on it. If not, you can still register from the main link of the event. Another event happening in December is the Active Cell together with the Excel World Championship. So these two events happen together during that time, December 1 to 3rd, 2025 in Las Vegas in person. During the day, we have the Active Cell, which is an Excel conference with different speakers presenting about all types of topics related to Excel. And in the evenings, we have the Excel Championship happening. We have competition between the individuals and teams coming from different universities around the world, which is very, very exciting to see all these young people engaged and getting so knowledgeable about Excel. And we also have the main competition where the biggest minds, the fastest minds with minds and fingers with Excel, they compete and they just solve crazy cases in such a short time. It's really fun to watch. Bill Jelen has been a host a couple of times. Oz, who was with us, I'm not sure if he's still here because I don't see all the tiles. He's been also a commentator for the live event, and it's really, really fun. If you want to get 10% off, you can use that link from the QR code. It's also in the chat. And yeah, it would be great to see you there. I hope you enjoy. And speaking about discounts, 20% off is available for all the Toronto Meetup group members from Mr. Jelen's Bookstore. And there's a special code for the members to use that I believe Aurora is putting in the chat. Feel free to use that, including for the new books that Bill releases a book every now and then. Last week he was saying it was his 70th book, but now it's 71st, right?
71st, that's right.
Yeah. So this is the 71st book by Bill Jelen. And if you buy the digital format, you can use the code to get 20% off. The print book is also available, and all the links will be available in the chat as well. And yeah, and if you are a member, you can always refer to our page to get the codes after the event if you need to. Bill, what is this book about?
Okay, so we all use ChatGPT probably, and I use it for silly things like I have it write songs about Excel. If you need a good country song about pivot tables, it's beautiful at that. But over on the left-hand side of ChatGPT in the left area over there, there's something called GPTs, and this is where you train your GPT to do something specific. And it always was mysterious to me. I went out to YouTube, like, how do I do this? And once I got the first one done, wow, yeah, I realized this is super useful. And now I have like 9 or 10 that help to streamline my everything I have to do get streamlined thanks to these little GPTs. And in the course of creating all those GPTs is like, wow, I bet a lot of people don't know how to do this, and they could probably benefit from watching how I managed to create these and the things that didn't work at first and how I fixed it. And so it's just a short little book, 120 pages. Okay, so
Short.
Great question from Henry. It does cover some Copilot. There's 3 Copilot examples in there, but right up front, I say, even though I'm a Microsoft guy, here's what I'm figuring out. The GPTs are working, and the Copilot ones are annoying the heck out of me. So there'll come a day where those Copilot ones are just as good, and then I'll do some more Copilot examples. But right now, although there's one place where Copilot wins. And so I document all that. And with all love to Microsoft, it's just, in my opinion, just not there yet. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you. So one example or two of those GPTs, if you can share.
Yeah, absolutely. This book, can we go to the next book? I'll talk about, can you show the next book?
Just a second. Yes, I will.
Yeah. So funny story. It was 7 weeks ago. I was walking downstairs in my house, scrolling on the phone, and I opened Gmail. And there in the Gmail, there was a alarming message from Amazon.com, and the subject line was "New from Bill Jelen." What? They're advertising some book that apparently a year ago I committed to writing, and I've completely forgot that I was writing it. Like life got busy or something like that. And so I'm getting an ad to go buy Mr. Excel 2025, and I have not updated the book for that. So the process of updating the book is I go back to my YouTube channel, I find all the videos published since Mr. Excel 2024, decide which ones are book worthy, rewatch the video, and then write a chapter. Yeah, I gave ChatGPT 5 examples. This was the video transcript from 2023, and this was the chapter that ended up in the 2024 book. And it learned how I take a video and convert it to a chapter. And the day that I had that working, it was 7 a.m. on a Saturday. I had to be somewhere at 8. And before 8 o'clock, I had the first one built. And then when I got back at 9 o'clock, I excitedly created 19 chapters in 75 minutes. Now, I still had to do screenshots. I still had to clean them up. But boy, it was a great way to start. And then here's, the other example is I'm doing YouTube videos all the time. And I love doing the YouTube videos, but I hate writing the descriptions and doing all the SEO and the table of contents and all that stuff. So I realized, well, wait a second. I'm going to give the same transcript. I get that transcript and I give it to my custom GPT, and it writes the description for me. It writes the best title. It writes hashtags. It writes the table of contents. I just post all that. It's so incredible. Like today, the Microsoft team showed us something at 12 o'clock. That meeting was over at 1 o'clock. And by 1:48, that video was recorded and everything was done. It's just amazing.
I guess it's just a matter of each one of us get used to the idea of taking advantage of this tool, and then once we get the hang of it, we will remember more. At least in my case, I still forget that I can get this help.
And I think once you build your first one, you're really good. Like the day, I'm sorry, I'm full of stories. The day this book went to print, it was 4 a.m. the day that book went to print. 8 a.m. I have to send it in. All right, so I have 4 hours left, and I'm like, okay, let's go proof the index. The index is terrible. It's 3 columns per page for 11 pages, and there's a really arcane capitalization rule for the second level index entries that I cannot bring myself to focus on. Like by the time I get to the G's, I start in the A's, ABC. Like by the time I get to the G's, I am just burnt. And so I stopped and I went out and I created my own GPT. I taught it the capitalization rules. right? All these arcane rules. And then I just uploaded the rest of the index, and bam, it found 50 things that it thought didn't follow the rules correctly. And I agreed with 35 of them and made those changes. Like that process started at 4:01, and at 4:40, GPT built and 35 fixes in the book. So yeah, it's so much fun. It's like, hey, this is really mundane. I don't want to do it. Let's teach someone else. And that someone else happens to be a custom GPT. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So the new times for everybody.
It is, right? Yeah.
So yeah, both of the books, you have the opportunity to get them. Links are on the chat, and QR codes and whatnot will be on your email soon as well.
I think the print book, this is brand new. The print book is being printed in Canada. So if you're in Canada and you order that book, it'll ship locally to you, hopefully pretty fast.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for the business.
New company. They print locally in Australia and the UK and the US and Canada. So hopefully it'll be faster. Good.
Yeah, that is helpful, because sometimes we want to order, and when the book comes out and it's very expensive, the mailing fees on top of the book.
Yes.
And other resources, you can check these on our meetup group. If you need help with Excel questions, the problem, a challenge that you are dealing with, feel free to use mrexcel.com/board. It's an Excel forum where you can get help with your questions for free, also ran by Mr. Excel. And other resources that will be available for you on this slide deck that I will be sending after the meeting, along with the exercise file. So yeah, I guess everyone knows Bill Jelen. If you don't know Mr. Excel, and head over to YouTube, Mr. Excel's YouTube channel currently has over 2,700 videos. And so you can imagine that in between Bill Jelen's YouTube channel, the forum, the blog, and all the books that Bill Jelen has written over the years, I believe there's probably nothing about Excel that has not been covered somehow. And Bill Jelen's YouTube channel was actually on the top 10 podcasts when YouTube was created, just because Bill Jelen was there, one of the first few channels. So
crazy.
Thank you, Bill, for all the work over the years and for sharing all your expertise, coming here, taking the time to be with us in person. It's an honor. So I'll stop talking. The floor is yours.
Awesome. All right.
We came here to hear from you.
Virginia, I'm glad you like the organ music at the start of the YouTube channel. That's Nancy Faust, who was the organist for the Chicago White Sox for 41 years. I ran into her and said, wow, this will be fun. So, all right, let me share my screen. So it's 10 till 6. We have like, what, 30 minutes, 40 minutes?
Until 6:30, 40 minutes.
6:30. That's
but
awesome.
It's not a hard stop. So if you need a couple of extra minutes, that's okay, as long as people want to stay.
We'll see. Over here on the left-hand side, if you can see my screen, this XKCD cartoon came across my radar, I don't know, 6 months ago. It's a 10-year-old cartoon. Two chemists talking to each other. Silica chemistry is second nature to us geochemists. So it's easy to forget that the average person probably only knows the formulas for olivine and 1 or 2 feldspars and quartz, of course. Even when they're trying to compensate for it, experts in anything wildly overestimate the average person's familiarity with their field. I said, that's interesting. I wonder what kind of things that I assume that everyone knows in Excel that people don't know. So I actually went out and I had a conversation with ChatGPT and with DeepSeek, and I told them about this comic, and they suggested a list of 20 things. And this list is basically from that bigger list. And someday I'm going to write a book about, I don't know, someday I'm going to do something with the whole list of 20, but right now this is the debut. Mr. Excel 2025, Navigating Excel, all of these items are in that book. By the way, if you've met Eric Ohm, has Eric ever done a session for you, Celia, from Excel Robot?
Eric. Yeah. His very first presentation ever was with us.
Eric.
I mean, for a live audience, sorry, not business-wise presentations,
Okay. Eric designed the book cover. I had a competition to see who could write the best formula, one Excel formula to fill a 45 by 45 grid. because 45 times 45 is the year 2025. This is the only year in our lifetime that we're going to be alive during a square year. 45 times 45. 44 times 44 is back in the 30s. I wasn't alive. 46 times 46 will be up in 21 something or other. I won't be alive. And Eric wrote the formula that created that background, right?
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, so shout out to Eric for that. He wins a free copy of the book. Okay, so we advertise items 2 through 8 plus and more, but I'm going to start with the first one, building formulas to join text with fast formula copy. That's the really important thing here is fast formula copy. This is one of my favorite tricks. This was a story going back to 1992. I was in Akron, Ohio. I was working in an accounting department. Wonderful person down in the marketing department comes back from a trade show with 5,000 rows, first name in column A, last name in column B, and needed to join that data together. Their approach was to start typing. They were going to type 5,000 names. Right? I'm like, oh my gosh, hang on, let me come down. So we're going to build a formula here that says equal A2. And you would think maybe you could do something like A2 plus B2, but that's not going to work because the plus sign needs both of those to be numbers. You get a value error. But the amazing thing is that we can do equal A2 ampersand. Ampersand is a great way to join text. So equal A2 ampersand B2. Press enter and you'll see that they take Zach Barisi and smash them together without a space in between. So we have lots of different options for that. We can do equal A2 ampersand, quote, space, quote, ampersand B2, like that. That's probably pretty good, I think. And by the way, let me put out here equal formula text. Oops, equal formula text. Just so you can see that formula after I press enter while I carry on here. Our guy in marketing who was typing the names wasn't really happy with this. He was like, no, that's not going to work. I'm doing a mail merge. I'm sending these people letters. I don't want to be screaming their name, right? I said, all right, hang on. There's functions in Excel. There's a function to solve this very problem. It's going to take that name that's in all caps and it's going to convert it to proper case. Right? And so there we get proper case. Now, today, would I still do this with A2 ampersand quote space quote ampersand B2? I don't know. We have something better today. The text join function. Text join is great. You get to say, what's the delimiter? What do you want to put between these things? So that's a space in this case. If someone doesn't have a last name, do we put a space? I want to say no, ignore that. Like in case my list had Madonna or Prince or Cher. And then finally, what do we want to join together? And it's nice we can just point to A3 to B3 and get the exact same thing. Of course, I still have to wrap that whole thing in proper. So either way is probably a good way to solve that. But now we've gotten to the point where we need to copy that formula down to the bottom of the data set. And today, I don't think I have 5,000 names. I just have 66 names. So it's not that bad, I guess. But what I'm really afraid of is a lot of people will come here to this little square dot. They know this square dot and they click and they start to drag, right? And this is such a hassle because it starts out really slow and then it speeds up and then stops for like 1/10 of a second. And once you miss that stop, then it's just going to go really fast, right? And it's just so hard to get back to that right spot. So if you're a person who grabs that fill handle and drags, I want you to do something completely different. Next time you have to do this, just go to that fill handle, the little square dot. The mouse cursor changes from a white plus to a black plus like this. Double click. When you double click, it looks to the left, all of the columns to the left, figures out how many rows of data we have today, and copies the formula down to the last cell, even if there's no last name. Back in Excel 2010, they fixed it. If there was no last name there, it would have stopped in row 66, but now it goes all the way to the bottom. It uses what we call the active or the current region to get to the bottom. All right, so fast way to copy a formula down to the bottom of a data set is to double click. This is a real guy. This really happened. I knew that I'd saved him hours and hours of typing. And I went back up to the accounting department, walked up the 4 flights of stairs to the 3rd floor. And by the time I got there, my phone was already ringing. And this guy down in marketing, he was so happy with that data that he had there in column C. Like I left it just like this. He was so happy with that data he had there in column C. He said, well, I don't really need this data in columns A and B anymore. And right click and delete. Right. And now everything's gone. He's super, super upset. Right. I'm like, hang on, don't touch anything. Step away from the keyboard. Because back then there was only one level of undo. If he would have done something, then I couldn't have come down and pressed the magic Control Z key in order to undo and get everything back. Okay, so before you can delete columns A and B, we need to take column C and we need to convert it to values. Convert it to values. And for me, I used to do this with copy, and I use Control C to copy, but you can use this icon either way. And then I used to go into paste special. That was the only way we used to be able to do it in the old days. Values. But there's easier ways today. You can open this drop down and puzzle your way through all these weird icons and figure out that this one here, the clipboard with the 1, 2, 3 is paste values. So that's like the 8th one there. Sometimes it's the 9th one, moves around a little bit. Or you can right click. Now there's only 5 icons to choose from, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one is paste values. Or there's a great new shortcut key. Let me see if I can remember it. All right, so it's Control C to copy and then Control Shift V. I'm watching up here in the formula bar. That should change from a formula. Yeah, Control Shift V. Control Shift V. That's even one that I still have to get used to doing. And of course, my formula text stops working because there's not a formula there anymore. All right, so there we go. Couple of tricks there. How to join text together with either text join or the ampersand. Double click the fill handle, get the formula down to the bottom. And then if you need to just, like those formulas are great. They did what I needed to do, but now I needed to change it to values. Either paste values or paste special in values or Control Shift V. They all do the same thing.
We have a question, Bill.
Yeah, good.
For proper, is there a simple way to deal with names like De Silva?
There's not. Yeah, and Paul McCartney. Yeah, Paul McCartney gets screwed up. Dave Van Horn and De Silva. Yeah, I don't have a good solution for that. And the thing is, I could start to write an if statement to handle a few of them, right? But I've done that in the past, like in the last seminar. I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it unless you have 100 De Silvas in the club. Just go find them and fix them. Like that's my only reasonable solution. So.
You would have to have several tables for different scenarios and.
Oh, I wonder.
And keep updating it.
I wonder if Python would fix that for us. That's not a question for today. Let's just table that one. I'll come back again. I'm going to write it down because it's a great question. Is there a better proper with Python or Copilot, or could I train a GPT to do it? Oh, let's keep talking. All right. Okay. I promised and more, right? That and more just worries the heck of me down there. One of the things is and more is the new thing that they gave us. This came from Google Sheets. Is this checkbox. And I love the little checkbox here. You can right justify. You can center it. You can make it go to the top wherever you think it should be. And I'm going to cross things out. I said cross things out. I'm going to check things off. I think if you're using checkboxes, and Microsoft should have done this for us automatically. Watch this amazing trick. I'm going to take all of the data in column E and I want to cross it out if the data in column D has a check mark. So that is home, conditional formatting. Now this is not simple stuff here. We're going to create a new rule and we're going to use a formula. Right? And that formula, we're looking at cell E3, and that formula has to look over to D3 and see if it's equal to true. So equal D3 is actually the formula. Isn't that crazy? Because I can say equal D3 is equal to true, but I don't have to do that because D3 is already true if it's checked. And then here in the format, I'm going to use strike through like that. Click OK. Right. And now as I check things off, it'll cross them out, and I'll feel like I'm getting a lot of stuff done. So let's see how that works.
Oz has his hand up. I don't know if he has a question.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I've dealt with that name issue before. And one thing about it is that it gets personal because, like, I spell my name lowercase du space capital S, but then my friend Michelle Dubois just goes capital DUBOIS. It's start to get personal and it gets messy. So you got to be careful about trying to chase that down.
You know what we're going to do, Oz? Right here, I'm going to make a pledge today that you and I are going to solve this problem. We're going to create we're going to create a Copilot agent, and we'll put that over there in the Copilot window, and it'll just solve this.
Okay.
I'm confident.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. Thanks, Oz. Is Michelle? Is her last name? Does it have a space or no?
Some people will do the capital DU space capital B. Others will just do the DU with no space between the U and the B. So it gets really personal.
All right, we'll carry on. We'll figure this out. Okay, next up, something called absolute references. You know what? I started fresh out of college, and I was working in a finance department. And my manager, who was 10 years older than me and was using Excel all the time, did not know this trick, and it would cost him hours a day. I discovered he didn't know the trick because I walked in one day, he didn't hear me walk in, and I watched what he was doing, and I was horrified. Okay, we're going to create a couple of formulas here. I have revenue and profit, revenue in E2, profit in F2, and I want to calculate gross profit percent. So that is equal F2 divided by E2. That formula, when I double click to copy that formula down, that formula automatically rewrites itself in every single cell. And here's how we can see that. We can come out here to formulas and show formulas. And we'll see that the F2 divided by E2 changes to F3 divided by, like this thing where they rewrite the formula. When Dan Bricklin and Bob Frankston did that back in the days of VisiCalc, that's what made spreadsheets so useful, is that ability. Okay, sales tax. That's revenue times this tax rate up here. All right, and that number right there, 146.71, is exactly right. But when I double click, it only works in the first row. It never works again. And when we go back to show formulas, we'll see what happened is the E2 changed to E3. That's exactly right. And E4 and E5 and E6. But that J1, it's also moving down the sheet, and we don't want it to move down the sheet. It needs to stay pointing to where it was pointing. So the solution to this is we take that J1 and we change it to $J, $1. And the fast way to do that is the F4 key. So right now the flashing insertion point is next to the J1. I press F4, and that is called an absolute reference. If you, well, let's just stop there. That's called an absolute reference. Double click to copy that down. And you see that now what's happening when I go look, the E2 was allowed to change to E6. So I'm looking at revenue on this row, but that J1 stays pointing up where we need it to point. My manager did not know this trick. He would type the formula on every single row. It just took forever. Now, F4 is a great thing. Function F4 on some laptops. Sure, that's right. A couple of ways around that. If you don't want to use F4, you can name this range. So I come up here to name a range. You select the cell and you click in the name box. This is called the name box to the left of the formula bar. I'm just going to call it tax rate. You're not allowed to put a space in there. So tax rate, or you can put tax underscore rate, whichever you want to do. And now the beautiful thing is E2 times tax rate. I can just start to type it and choose from the list. And tax rate is, oh, what's up? Used to be a date there. Change that to currency. Don't freak out if you put a formula in and you get a date. I actually did that on purpose. I didn't. Like, this is really normal. Someone had a date there long ago, and now it's still showing as a date. Don't, or if you think you're going to get a date and you get a number like 45671, just go change the number format. Very common thing in Excel, drives people nuts. All right, so named ranges. All right, I don't want to blow your mind, but here's the really important thing. Now that you have this whole thing of an absolute reference down, there's all kinds of examples where we need to multiply, and part of the reference has to stay fixed and part of the reference has to change. So in this case, I need the blue thing times the purple thing times the red thing, right? And for the purple thing, it's always column A in the row that I'm in. And for the red thing, it's always row 2 of the column that I'm in. So this is called a mixed reference. We're going to first point to the blue thing, and I'm going to press F4 once. That locks it down. That part stays there all the time. Times, and then I come over here and click on the 1.12. I'm going to have to press F4 multiple times. The first time locks both the A and the 4. That's not it. The next one locks just the 4. That's not it. The next one locks just column A. That's it. So in other words, always column A, but the 4 is allowed to move to 5 to 6 to 7. And then the last piece here is this one. And because I'm locking down the row, I know it's 2 times. 2 times that I press F4. So that C is allowed to move to D, E, F, but the 2 is going to stay locked in. I'm embarrassed to say I know, I've learned how many times I have to press F4, but when I didn't know, I would just keep pressing F4 till it looked right. I would puzzle it out, like, okay, which is the right thing to do? So this is called a mixed reference. Part of it's absolute, part of it's relative. The absolute is the one with the $sign before it. and the last one. If we want to do this is called an expanding range. And, you know, I hate to explain it up here in the top row because it makes no sense. I'm going to show it to you and you're going to see how it doesn't make any sense. I'm doing $4 to B4, and the B4 is relative. This only makes sense once I double click to copy this down, and we come down here. And now I can show you that we're always reaching back to B4, but we're coming down to the current row like this. All right, so this is one that makes you feel a little bit smug if you know this one, like because you have this dynamic expanding range. The thing is that once I met Charles Williams, he's an MVP from England. This is not the fast way to do this. If you had 10,000 rows of this, it's a very inefficient formula. So let's just do something really crazy. I actually got this from Zach Barisi. Taught me this one. Take the sum of B4, the number to the left of us, and the previous grand total. And the beautiful thing is sum ignores text. So when I do 60,000, the sum of 60,000 and the words or this, it has no problem with that. It just gives me the 60,000. As I double click to copy that down, see, I get the same answer. If we had a stopwatch and a million of these, the one on the right is 100 times faster than the one in column C. But all right, so just so you understand this dynamic range, you're going to run into people who, you know, like, oh yeah, hey, I'm really smart in Excel and I want to do this. At least you know what they're doing, and you can say to them, you know, there's a faster way to do that. Maybe not even, maybe don't get into that argument. Like you don't want to, I don't know. All right, there we go. So that is absolute versus relative, and the magic F4 key to quickly put those dollar signs in. All right, next up, slicers. Slicers originated with pivot tables in Excel 2010, but I'm going to show you a feature that came along in Excel 2013. All right, so I have a data set here, and I'm going to need to convert this data set to a table. So that's either Control T or Home, format as table, or I think Insert, Table. They all do the same thing. And you think like, oh, this is a great way to format something quickly. But it's not just about formatting, right? There's all kinds of extra things that happen when we have a table, including the ability to filter using slicers. So I'm going to come here and say Insert. There's some slicers. Before I do that, I think I want a slicer for sector and maybe region and maybe product. Like maybe that makes sense. So I'm going to set them all up at once. So region, product, and sector. Now, when you do this, it's super annoying the way that Excel overlaps them, like that. I don't know why they chose to do it that way. Always take a little bit of time here to rearrange these. Like you can go to 3 columns. And then for product, that also fits in 3 columns. Always change the color just to make it more interesting to me. And then sector is going to fit right there. I'll still change the color to something else. All right, so now I have a data set over there. If I want to see just the East region, I can very quickly filter to all of the East. The East region where they bought product DEF, and I can get East region DEF. So now I'm down to 91 out of 563 records found. I never have to go open these drop downs. Yeah. Oh. Okay. And the other thing that's cool here is the cross filtering action. So East DEF, there were absolutely no healthcare or transportation customers in the East region who bought DEF. You can see it's grayed out, right? So I just love even being able to say, hey, yeah, that's not in play. They're like, we had no, if you're looking for healthcare next, forget it. There weren't any that bought DEF. Maybe they bought XYZ. Nope. Maybe they bought ABC. Yeah, there we go. There's our healthcare. All right. So just having the slicers on a regular old data set, although you have to make it into a table, is a excellent way to go. All right. Goal seek. Oh, I love this one. Goal seek. How many of you, so here's a cultural question. Growing up, you know, my mom had a job. She went to work every day. And so in the summers, I was sitting at home just trying to entertain myself all morning, right? And I remember watching a show. It was on 11 o'clock every day called The Price is Right with Bob Barker, right? Did you have a similar show in Canada? Is that, yeah, right? And Bob Barker had this game that he would play where you could win a car and all you had to do was shout out the price of the car. And Bob would guide you higher, lower, higher, lower, higher, lower. All right, so I put a Chevy Silverado 1500 in here because it's made in Canada. I used to do the Ford Edge. They don't make the Ford Edge anymore. It was also made in Canada. So allegedly that's the Canadian price for a base model Chevy Silverado 1500. I'm going to pay for that over 60 months, and I have an interest rate of 4.75%. If I don't know what function it is, the FX function, this is a search here. I can search for loan payments. And it shows me two functions that it thinks are related to loan payments. So I choose payment, the PMT function. And I love the function arguments because it walks me through this step by step. And I would always get this answer wrong every single time because they would ask for a rate and I would click on the 4.75%, and that's wrong. It's the interest rate per period for the loan. So they're not charging me 4.75% per month. That's an annual rate, right? So they have, for example, use 6% divided by 4 for quarterly payments and 6%. So that's a monthly, I need to divide by 12. And it even shows me out here that's 0.039583333, and I don't care, like today, but there might be a day where that's kind of handy, maybe. All right, end pair, what is that? That's the total number of payments for the loan. Okay, that's what I call the term, good. PV, the present value, the total amount that of a series of future payments is worth now. Now, here's what I've learned over the years. If I just go click on that 51,433, they're going to give me a car payment that's negative. And technically that's correct because it is money coming out of my bank. It's being subtracted from my bank. But I don't write a check for negative $8,000. So I type a minus sign here, and that's just me that I've learned that. Minus C6, and that gets me a car payment of $964.72, which is more than I want to pay. All right, so now this is where we get to do a little bit of what if, and this is where my training, all those summers watching Bob Barker, comes in really handy because what we're going to do is, let's just say I'm shooting for $900, right? So I'm going to have to argue the guy down, right? I'm going to have to go to the dealership and get them to lower the price. What's the right price? Like if I go to $40,000, $750, right? So I would hear Bob Barker say higher, right? I'll try $45,000, still higher, $47,000, right? And you have to remember, like somewhere between 47 and 51 right now, 48,000. 49,000, right? This is super frustrating. All right, so somewhere in between 45. You get this? Like this is basic middle school game show watching, right? But there's such a better way to do this. I'm trying to make this $964, which is a formula. I want that to be $900, and I want to do it by changing cell C6. So the amazing way to back into this is out here on the data tab, hidden under what if analysis. It's funny, there's three things here. The scenario manager is horrible, never use it. Goal seek is awesome, I love it. Data table is not what you think it is. It's also amazing, but we won't get to it today. So it's funny, whoever built this little icon here, 67% of the things in here are beautiful. And one of them is just terrible, right? But here we are. So we're going to set cell C9 to $900 by changing cell C6. And when I click that, the whole Bob Barker thing that I was doing very slow is going to happen super fast. I don't know if you'll be able to see the numbers change up there in C6, but they're going to try higher, lower until they get down to like an amazingly accurate number. Not just 31 cents, but 31.185. It's just awesome. And by the way, maybe they won't come down on the price, but maybe you could do something like this. What if analysis, goal seek, set cell C9 to $900, $1,000 by changing the term. Maybe we go to the bank and ask for a longer loan. All right, so a 66-month loan would get us under that. Or what if analysis, goal seek, set cell C9 to $900 by changing the rate. Let's go find a bank that has a lower promotional rate. All right, so there we are. We can find a 1.93% interest rate. That will get us where we need to go. All right, perfect. So that is goal seek. Goal seek to back into an answer. I have to hard code your target in goal seek. You mean like, why can't it be another cell? That's a good question. I probably won't sleep on that one. Okay, goal seek can only vary a single variable cell. Is there a way to have a goal seek by varying two cells? I don't know the answer to that. The scenario, let's think about that. Solver, interesting. Okay, we're not going to get to that today. Watching the time. All right, flash fill. This is a great one. Excel 2013. Excel 2013, Chad Rothschiller on the Excel team gave us flash fill. there's some purists, some people that have been around a long time, who say that they never would have gotten flash fill in if David Gaynor had been in charge of Excel. If Dave Gaynor got promoted after Office 2010, he went to work for someone else at Microsoft. He was like VP of Office. He was working for the VP of Office. And someone from the Word team came in and ran Excel for that one iteration. And flash fill was given to us in that Excel 2013. And that was an interesting window. Like they said, that Dave wouldn't have let that be in Excel. But let me show you what it does first. All right, so we have remember our original problem where we had to join text. And now it's kind of more interesting because I have to join text with possibly a middle initial. I'm not going to do any of that formula. I'm just going to come here and I'm going to type the first one the way that I want it to be. And then because Jeremy is a little bit different, I'm going to use Jeremy A. Bartz like that. So now I've given it 2 examples of what we're looking for. And then from the blank cell, also it's super important that heading has to be there. You have to have a heading for this to work. If there's no heading up there, it's never going to work. All right. These have to have headings as well. And then from the blank cell, we come up here to data and flash fill. It's Control E, flash fill, Control E. They will look to the left and try and follow my pattern all the way down. Now, here's the difference. Here's why Dave Gaynor would not have approved of this. If we realize that this isn't David B. Coleman, it's actually his dad, who's David F. Coleman, and I change that F, see, that is hard-coded. That's not a live formula out there. It is just... that was the answer at the time. And they said, well, Dave would have made Chad come up with an actual formula. And today we have that in Power Query. We have formula by examples where they actually create a formula for you. But this is just a great way. Sometimes it's a super way to solve things. Here's one where I'm going to use flash fill to break things apart. Like I need everything after the last dash. And yes, today we could use text after. We could pull that off the text after, but when I created this example, we didn't have text after. So I'm going to come out here and just type consulting and then applications. I'm going to make it in proper case and then Control E or flash fill, and it will go get that last, everything after the dash. See, and even in Roto-Rooter where there was already an earlier dash, they still get everything after that last dash, right? So flash fill is pretty sweet. Right. DATEDIF, the function they don't want you to know about. DATEDIF is the only function in Excel that if you go to Excel help, it'll pretend like it doesn't exist. And like, even if I come out here, if I knew that I needed DATEDIF, it starts to type DATEDIF. See the open and close parentheses, they won't even tell me what has to be in there. They just pretend like, no, we have no idea what you're talking about. They know, it's there, it works. So what I want to do is I want to figure out the age of this person. Number 1, born March 31st, 1990. Today, I'm using the today function here, equal today. And I want to figure out how many years, months, and days they are. So the DATEDIF function, whoops. That's funny. They won't even let me tab through it. They know it exists, but they're making me type the whole thing. Sometimes the Excel team, they kind of annoy the heck out of me. All right. Like that was really funny there where they refused to let me type date D and press tab. They're like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. Okay. We're going from the earlier date to the later date, and then we're giving it a code. All right. I should have learned here. I needed to press F4 a few times. I needed to lock down the B3. I'll press F4 1, 2, 3 times. And then I needed to press C3 and lock down the C, so 3 times there. And then the code up here is Y. Y is the code for years. And this time I'm going to press F4 twice to lock down just the row number. So this is another great mixed reference here. And so that person is 35 years old today, but I want to know more than that. I want to know years, months, and days. All right. And you would think, any rational person would think, oh, if we put in Y for years, we must need M for months. All right. You would think that's the way it would work. But if you try that, they say, yeah, he's 423 months old, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for months in excess of full years. So the code to put in is YM. That means throw out the years and give me the months. I don't know why that's what it is, but that's what it is. And then same thing here. If you just put in days, tell me the days. That's going to be a disaster because it's going to tell me that this person's been alive for 12,898 days, right? Which might be fascinating, but is not what we want. So what we want is MD up there. So 35 years, 3 months, 22 days old. just for completeness here, if you ask for just M, it's the total number of months, total number of days, or if you need to know 35 years and 114 days. Now, there's all kinds of great things that this is useful for. Why are they hiding it from us? That is the huge question. Why won't they acknowledge that this thing exists? And it all goes back to this one person. This one person screwed everything up. Their birthday was January 31st. I don't know what the year was. We'll go 1965. January 31st, 1965. That person. And they happen to be running this test on 3/1 of the same year. From January 31st to March 1st, they're going to say, well, that's 0 years because it's 1965. They're going to say a whole month has gone by, the entire month of February. But then when they, Siri, I'm not asking you at all. When they go to calculate the days, they're so confused. They say that that person is 1 month and -2 days old, right? And no one at Microsoft could explain that to the customer, right? So they just pretended like it doesn't exist. We're just going to turn our head and say, no, we have no idea what you're talking about. And as long as you don't have anyone who was born on the 30th or the 31st of January, and you're measuring on the 1st or the 2nd of March, it's going to be perfect, right? So just fire that person. Like, don't let them work there. Tell them they have to change their birthday, and everything will be great, except for that one thing.
Or just don't look at the file on those days.
Yeah, exactly.
The
right.
result
Yeah.
is wrong.
I can't calculate on March 1st or 2nd. This formula works every other day except for March 1st or 2nd. Yeah, Celia, that's a great solution right there.
Take the day off.
It is a function. And I'm gonna go out to UserVoice, excel.uservoice.com, and ask them to document the function on the other 363 days a year. It seems only fair. You can pretend like you know it, just not on those days. All right, here we go. Number formatting. This is a great one. I love to be all fancy down at the bottom of my invoice, right? And I want to say, please remit. And I point to F24 and then another ampersand and the word buy with a space on either side. And then I take the date plus the terms. And I think that I'm going to see that they should remit $555.20 on, I don't know, like August 22nd, probably based on the 31 days. But it is super annoying when I take these numbers. Now that I'm asking them to send me fractions of a cent. I need 0.198075. And I want it by some date called 45,891 or something like that, right? So if you're concatenating numbers and text and Excel starts doing this weird stuff to you, there's a way to force Excel to use a certain number format. So F24 is the currency. So I'm going to say I want to see that in $0.00. Yeah, that should work. Close the text function. And then also for that date, I'm going to ask for the text of the date. And we will go in what do y'all use out there? Is it month, day, year, or day, month, year? What's the Canadian day first?
On Windows, if you choose the Canadian system or the regional setting, is a year, month, day.
Oh, seriously? Wow.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah, okay,
but then on a daily basis, nobody enters dates like that. Usually people follow the American way.
Sorry. All right, so there we go. You can do it however you like and have some control using that awesome text function, the text function. 500 functions in Excel, and that text function comes in, saves the day a lot of times. All right, summarize data using an English sentence. I'm trying not to talk about Copilot today. I really am. And even this is technically not Copilot. Right here on the Home tab, we have the Copilot icon. And right next to it is something called Analyze Data, except for they've hidden this, right? They want you to pay a lot of money for Copilot, and they don't want you to know that there's a free thing that's right next to it. So they moved to the thing that's right next to it called Analyze Data, and they've hidden it. They've moved it back here to the Data tab underneath the Data Tools group. There's Analyze Data. So they're hiding it, but it's still there, right? Analyze Data is an amazing way to create a summary just by typing an English sentence. So I want to know the top 5 customers based on revenue. Like, this is like Copilot before there was Copilot. When I press enter, they say, is this what you want? yes, that's exactly what I want. Insert a pivot table. And they just like, even if I have no idea what a pivot table is, I now have an answer. And the one thing about this is it is incredibly reliable. It will give me that exact same pivot table every single time. Copilot, I ask 10 times, I'm going to get 5 different answers. But this thing, analyze data, is just going to work, right? It is just an amazing, amazing bit of functionality. Let's try something else. Let's try something harder. I want to know who is the top customer in each sector based on revenue. Insert a pivot table. Oh, look at that. So there's transportation. Southwest Airlines is number 1. Retail is Walmart. Manufacturing is General Motors. Like, look at this. This is hard to do. And all you have to do, the hardest part about this is not typing the English sentence. It's coming out here to the data tab and finding where they moved analyze data to. This is like, this little thing here is for the things they never want anyone to find. They hid 3D map underneath data model, which is a horrible place to put it. No one will ever find it there. You know, effectively, they're just trying to kill something. I think it's just me being cynical. All right. And more. Here we go. This book came out yesterday. I saw the first copy of this book yesterday. I drove down to Vero Beach, about an hour and a half away. I was doing a seminar for 85 accountants down there. When I got there, they'd already put a book on everyone's chair. That's the first time I'd ever seen that book. I had not seen that book before that day. And I'm 7 minutes into the session, and a wonderful lady named Jill, who was just right off to the right-hand side, showed me a trick that I have never seen before. And I was just so happy to get the trick and horrified that that trick is not in the book.
So now you need to write the 2026 edition.
Here's the amazing thing, Steve. I rushed home this morning. Actually, I rushed home last night. But this morning I went and I found a spot in that book where there was a half a page at the bottom, and I put this trick in that book and I uploaded it to the printer. And so if you go order the book today, it'll have this next trick in there, right? So Jill Burnett's trick is in the book, which I'm super happy about. Now look, I know some of you are going to give me a hassle on this, but here's the thing. This is such an awesome trick. Jill says anytime that you have 2 lists. So she had a fixed asset report that had a whole bunch of things, and she has a general ledger that has a whole bunch of things in a different sequence. And she's like, anytime you're about to grab a highlighter and start highlighting this and this to make sure they match, and this to make sure they match, and this to make sure they match. This is a trick that she invented, and I love this trick. She chooses all of the costs in both columns. So that's hold down the control, like highlight this, that's easy. Hold down the control key and highlight this, and then home, conditional formatting, highlight cells, duplicate values. Jill says, these should be identical. Anything that is appearing in both lists is going to be pink, and it's good. Anything that's in white, you know, is a problem. So instantly see that there's a problem there. The stable misting system was 14,664 and is now 12,000. I mean, I've done this with XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP and all kinds of crazy things. This is so fast. And if most of the things haven't changed, you're going to find exactly what it is, just incredibly, incredibly fast. So that trick, the conditional formatting, mark duplicates to compare 2 lists. Oh, I just love when I see someone come up with some creative thing in Excel that the Excel team never thought that they would have used it for. But wow, it just works. Trevor asked, in what section of the data tab? We must have been talking about the analyze data, analyze data. Now, this is probably an Insider's Fast beta. It might still be. You might still have this on the home tab out here towards the right, like after where Copilot should be. To the right of add-ins, analyze data might be right there. Yeah, and you should be good to go. All right. I went right to 6:30, right to the last second. That's what I have.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Celia.
It didn't feel like all the time has gone already. Yeah. I kind of wanted more. Any other questions or
in the
comments?
Chat, how do I make Travis's image larger in the chat? How can I do that?
What about if you click on it? Does it amplify?
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's called. Yeah, you don't have it. Trevor, let's see your home tab. I bet it's on the home tab.
So what's the question about that image?
Where is the advanced analysis that is now back on the data tab? Where is it on Trevor's computer? Analyze data, that one. It used to be on the home tab. All right, hang on, sorry.
There's one data analysis there. That's not the one, right? On
Right.
under on the analyze
wow,
group.
Travis. I wonder, Travis, if you don't have Microsoft 365, if this is like Excel 2021 or 19 or something like that, and then you just don't have it. I hate that they keep selling those versions.
Or it is somewhere else.
Oh, that's possible. It's had a lot of different names
because they change it so many times.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What about if we search on top of Excel on that? We
but
have a searching.
You can search for. The question is, what are you going to search for? Because it used to be called insights. It used to be called ideas. Yeah, it was on the insert tab for a while. Yeah, Travis, I guess the question is version 20, but not 365. Yeah, so I think that's only a 365 thing, which is them just being jerky about the whole thing. You know, like you gave them $400 for that version. Why not give you that feature? I don't know. Seems like it's just a way to push you to Google Sheets. Anyway, sorry, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this. One version of Excel has it, the other version of Excel doesn't have it. Like they're all Excel. They're all your customers. You should be nice to all of us. I think.
And it just makes it hard for them because when they need to make updates and then compatibility and whatnot, it's just they just create all that problem on their end.
Okay, here's a great question from Henry. When you reference to another sheet, I actually think it's another workbook, Henry. The sheet is always treated as absolute, right? But if the form is copied to another workbook, it refers to the first workbook as absolute as well. Ooh, wow, that is a really good question. I'm gonna have to screenshot that one, Henry. And I'll go try and track it down.
And then we will have a video anytime soon.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, and then I'll take that video and run it through ChatGPT and make a book chapter out of it.
To another workbook, it refers to the first workbook as absolute as well.
Which means that Henry, that means I didn't know that second thing. I knew the first thing you told me. I didn't know that second thing, so I'm gonna go play with it. Wow, we have a new term for it here, but I'm not. It's not a nice term, so I'm not gonna use it. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna something and find out. Karina says that you can use search to find it. I think we're talking about analyze data. Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise, home tab, third from the right, but not in the, and you're not in the beta. Yeah. Analyze data has been around for a long time. It's like, it's in a third, you know, like it's like V3. It was super stable. And when they talked about Copilot, I'm like, you don't need Copilot, just make everyone start using analyze data because it's super reliable. Of course, they don't listen to anything I say.
I loved that when it came out, but it seemed to not get any traction.
It didn't get any traction. But now the Copilot's giving us a different answer every time, and that thing is super reliable. You know, it's like everything you hate about Copilot, that thing is not. Right. That was a bad sentence, but
well, we got it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I hope everyone has learned a couple of things. When you look at this list, we say, oh, I know this, I know that, but there's always something that we didn't know. So thank you for compiling all these features together in one list and one session, Bill.
Yes.
I'm going to share my screen again with the slides about the books, if anyone is interested to take advantage of that. This one and the other one. And yeah, let us know if there's any more questions. A lot of thank yous for you, Bill. Thank you.
Oh, cool. That's great. Someone said that the print book link was not working. I'm just going to paste that in there.
Thank you.
Books.by. And I think at the bottom of that, there are all the other books that I have out there, which is one right now. So you can get to navigating Excel at the bottom of that link.
And for everyone else, we will get together sometime in September. We will be publishing the sessions in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. And I hope everyone enjoys summer. If you have summer now, regardless, enjoy your August month, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
for
everyone.
coming.
Thank you, Bill. Bye-bye.